Last time, Ranta betrayed them and became an enemy, so who will they recruit to take his place? Volume 9, Here and Now, Too Far, Far Away. Starting off, we find Haru and Mary huddled together inside of the cave that leads to the Night Realm. Now, it's only been a few moments since Mary was rescued, and as such, she is still visibly shook from the experience. Haru is currently lost in thought as he dwells on his battle with Ranta, only to be brought back to reality as Mary describes her time at the Forgan camp, and how Ranta, in his own way, actually saved her from a much worse fate. Mary and Haru are both heavy-hearted, but they do find comfort in each other as they patiently wait for their comrades. Now, Kuzaku just noticed that Haru and Ranta have disappeared, but Moyugi reassures him that this is all within his plan. Kuzaku then thinks about wanting to grow stronger as he watches Rock full mount his opponent, though somehow Arnold reverses the situation and pile drives Rock into the ground. This brutal battle continues on for a while, and Kuzaku realizes that Rock is using a boxing stance. But wait, what's boxing again? At this point, Arnold has multiple broken limbs, and Rock has been blinded, but even so, neither fighter is backing down. However, Jumbo stops the fight and deems it a tie, simply saying,
"If this continues, you both will be dead."
Jumbo also tells them to walk away, or else he will personally put them down. This spurs Kajita to instantly attack. Jumbo easily dodges and knocks Kajita away with a palm to the chest. Moyugi then orders a tactical retreat, since it's clear that they don't stand a chance against Jumbo. Though as they are leaving, Takasagi returns, explaining that Haru took Mary. Jumbo states that he promised not to do anything himself, so Takasagi rallies Forgan to attack. Kuzaku knocks away one enemy just to be confronted by 4 more. Suddenly, Moria appears, causing just enough fear and chaos to let the squad escape. Kuzaku gets separated in the process, and we find Shiho and Yume hiding in a bush as it begins to rain. Yume takes this time to cry over Ranta, but is rudely interrupted by a pack of wolves. They attempt to run away but are quickly found, and with a mix of arrows and magic, they hold back the pack. That is, until the beast tamer named Onsa arrives. Yume hits Onsa with an arrow, as Shiho orders Dark to disperse, blanketing the area in a thick black fog. Onsa charges straight through anyways, and Yume leaps onto the wolf's back, causing them to fall off and slam into a tree. Yume gets up and wrestles with Onsa, where they end up dangling off of a cliff. The large wolf reaches over the edge, and they both grab on, but the ground gives way as all 3 of them tumble down the hill. Yume comes to at the bottom, where her and Onsa look at each other and just agree to stop fighting. We then find Shiho focusing all of her willpower on maintaining Dark, though just before reaching her limit, she releases the fog and runs away. However, just like last time, the wolves quickly catch up and surround her. She does manage to knock away a few of them, but it's not long before she's trampled to the ground as the wolves sink their teeth into her flesh. But at least she's at peace, knowing that she fought to her very last breath. But all of a sudden, Sakanami arrives, screaming total nonsense as he slaughters the wolves. Suga then treats her wounds and gives her a cloak to replace her shredded clothing. Back at the cave, the mood hasn't changed, and we find out that Mary believes herself to be the weakest link of the squad. Haru then comes to terms with the fact that he really is going to miss Ranta. This causes Mary to realize that Ranta hasn't summoned his demon since joining Forgan, which leads them to believe that he is hiding Zodiac on purpose. Haru then looks out into the rain where he sees a gray cat-like creature approaching them. This is actually the same cat that led Haru to Mary, and this time it's followed by Satora and Inba. It turns out that Satora was exiled from the village for helping Haru, and that she has come to take her payment. Of course, Mary gets upset and tries to switch places with Haru, but Satora snaps at her.
"Don't you realize he's doing this for you?"
Mary grits her teeth and steels herself to watch, but Satora actually allows Haru to keep the eye a little longer. Haru is very grateful and relieved, but he once again asks her for help in finding his comrades. She's not against helping, but she has one condition, and she proceeds to ask Haru and Mary if they love each other. They both awkwardly say no, prompting Satora to reveal that she wants Haru to act as her lover. At Camp Forgan, we find Ronta thinking about his fight with Haru, as he is very bummed out that he lost. However, he also feels lonely and sad because even after all this time, Haru still didn't seem to know what he was thinking. I mean, Ronta had no choice but to fight seriously, due to Takasagi always being suspicious of him. But even so, Ronta never intended to kill Haru. He just wanted to prove that he was stronger, which would then cause Haru and the rest of the squad to quit fighting and to just join Forgan. Ronta really just wants them to realize that the other races are people just like you and me, so there's no real reason to indiscriminately kill them. But why didn't Haru pick up on what I was thinking? Next, we see a flashback to Earth, where we find out that Kuzaku's dad had a mistress and that Kuzaku's mom was dying in the hospital. Kuzaku then wakes up in a cave and crawls out to find that he is missing his sword and shield. Yume, Onsa, and Gero are currently struggling to walk through the forest due to their heavy injuries. Gero falls over and Yume passes out, giving us a flashback to a school playground where Yume was being bullied due to her dialect. She then wakes up to find Onsa waiting for her, and they set out once again when Onsa signals for them to hide, and Yume witnesses a gigantic blue wyvern land on the ground. She does her best to keep Gero calm as they wait for the beast to fly away. Shiho wakes up next to Suga and they hear a screech off in the distance. The sound quickly grows louder as the wyvern lands on Suga, pinning him to the ground. Shiho immediately uses Dark to disorientate the beast, allowing Suga to heal himself just before picking up Shiho and sprinting away. Now we jump to Haru's group, who is currently walking through the forest. Satora is doing her very best to get under Mary's skin, while at the same time flirting with Haru. Mary tells herself that this situation doesn't bother her. However, she follows that up by listing off all of the reasons why a girl might be attracted to Haru. Then they hear a screech, causing Satora to explain that when the fog dissipates, the wyverns begin hunting for prey. She then takes off running with her cats leading the way. Moments later, they find a very exhausted Shiho and Suga with a wyvern hot on their tail. Haru hugs Shiho, then tackles Suga to the ground, saving his life. The wyvern then proceeds to attack Inba, but flies away after realizing that he's only a golem. Haru then orders Satora to lead the group, and let's just say that Satora liked that. They run for a while, but the wyvern refuses to give up, forcing them to turn and fight. It crashes down and begins trying to step on them, so Shiho casts Dark, but can only sustain him for a brief moment before collapsing. Mary quickly heals Shiho and watches as Suga casts the legendary spell, Prayer. This spell is basically a roll of the dice, and this time, it does absolutely nothing. The wyvern is currently swooping in and out of the battlefield as Satora trips and falls to the ground. The beast closes in just as Inba throws her to safety, taking the assault for himself. Haru has to physically hold back Satora as Shiho uses the last of her magic to stun the wyvern. Suga then tells Mary to take care of the now unconscious Shiho as he bravely steps up to confront the wyvern. Kuzaku then appears and picks up Shiho's staff, positioning himself next to Suga. However, a pack of wolves begins attacking the wyvern as Yume and Onsa arrive. Haru then climbs onto the beast, jams his dagger into its eye, then rolls to the ground, signaling a retreat. Then as they are running away, the fog rolls back in, which may or may not have been an answer to Suga's prayer. Back at the Forgan camp, we find a very hungover Takasagi being approached by a gray elf who simply hands him a note. Hey, did you know I have a Twitter? You should definitely follow me for some Twitter stuff. Shout out to my patrons, with a special shout out to my newest patron, Salamander JNA. And thanks for watching, everyone. I hope to see you next time.